Texas heads into their final road game of the season against an improved Kansas Jayhawks team. How is the Kansas offense putting up points? Why is their defense in the bottom 100? And most importantly, can Texas handle business after a deflating TCU loss? After the show, Inside Texas is your spot to stay locked in with your favorite team through the ups and the downs. Subscribe to InsideTexas.com today, link in the description. Kansas is no pushover, and we know what happened last year. Can Texas step up to the plate and secure the win in Lawrence, Kansas? Without further ado, let's get into it. First, Lance Leipold did an amazing job making a historically bad team competitive in just year two. Their offense is varied: triple option, motion, misdirection, quarterback rollouts, QB runs, RPOs with deep and intermediate shots sprinkled in. They've been effective, ranking 19th in the nation for points per game. And things were looking even better before their star quarterback, Jaylen Daniels, who was graded first overall in the Big 12, went down with injury. He was third in completion percentage, third in yards per attempt, and had 11 touchdowns to just one interception in his 6 games. Daniels can consistently hit the deep and intermediate shots, but he is most deadly slicing you up in the short game with RPOs and quick sprint outs. Daniels has the lowest time to throw in the league, so expect that ball to be out fast. He's an athlete able to fully weaponize the quarterback running portion of the Kansas offense, but his special ability is his intelligence. He has an incredible grasp of a complicated offense and was able to utilize all the tricks built into it. If he does return, he won't be at 100%, so it's yet to be seen how the rust could affect his play. But once Daniels went down, Jason Bean took back control of the starting job. Jason Bean has done a good job overall. His style can be a bit volatile, displayed by leading the league in big-time throw percentage while also being first in turnover-worthy plays. He takes some risks, but they pay off for him, leading the league in yards per attempt with 9.6 yards per throw. He's been effective everywhere on the field, ranking third in completion percentage deep. He's second in completion percentage at the intermediate range and fourth in completing balls under 9 yards. He still has that tendency to be a bit inconsistent at times, but when he is on, he is a tough quarterback to face. On top of that, he has the legs. Daniels is a more effective runner, but Bean has way better straight line speed. He's not overly reliant on the scramble since the offense naturally lets him run by design, but if he does get into the open field, he's out of there. But the problem is Bean also went down versus Texas Tech last week. So do we see the return of Daniels, or do they have to ride with their third string option? We'll only know more as the week progresses. A big strength of the Kansas offense is their receiving core, which all do their part in keeping the chains moving. First in targets is slot Luke Grimm. And he's not just your typical safety net slot with reliable hands. They like to send him vertical with the second most deep targets on the team. Grimm is effective between the second and third level in the middle of the field as well, so you can't just expect little dink and dunk passes to him. He's a versatile player able to switch back and forth between playing outside about 30% of the time. He's graded as the second overall receiver in the Big 12. Second in targets is ex-receiver Lawrence Arnold with 45. Despite his 6'3", 200-pound size, he's actually most effective in the short range, with about 50% of his targets coming under 9 yards. But he's not a one-trick pony. He can find spots in the zone in the intermediate range or go deep for the big catch. Arnold is currently the 4th highest-ranked receiver in the league. Quentin Skinner has 33 targets, and he's their deep threat, with 36% of his targets coming over 20 yards, pulling in 4 of his touchdowns. The big 6'5", 190-pound sophomore goes striding up the field, pulling corners and safeties away from the other threats, and if he clears them, he can go up and get those jump balls himself. Kansas can use him to bully smaller receivers on the goal line as well. But as an overall receiver, he's ranked 17th of 36 Big 12 receivers. Kansas's final major receiving threat is tight end Mason Fairchild with 27 targets. He tricks people into thinking he just makes those quick catches at the sticks, and he can do that, but he can hurt you most finding soft spots in the zone or on a late crosser to the sideline. Occasionally, Kansas slips him out deep for the big grab with a solid 80% catch rate deep. Fairchild is a complete tight end able to block, so the secondary gets lulled to sleep, and at that moment, Fairchild leaks out for a crucial grab. To maximize good quarterback and wide receiver play, you'll need an effective pass-blocking offensive line. And Kansas has the 6th best sack rate in the nation. They utilize rollouts, RPOs, extra blockers, and pulling centers to keep defensive lines guessing so they don't fly downhill. Individually, left guard Dominic Pooney is ranked 12th, only giving up 5 total pressures, and left tackle Earl Bostic Jr. is 19th with 10 total pressures. The run blocking is above average, ranking 57th in the nation for average line yards. They once again are greater than the sum of their parts, with only 2 offensive linemen in the top 25 for run blocking. Center Mike Nowitzki is 16th, and left guard Dominic Pooney is 24th. Kansas's rushing attack is 22nd in the nation, but that's not purely due to the backs. The quarterback run is a major aspect, especially paired with option principles. Due to all these factors, running back Devin Neal leads the conference in yards per attempt, averaging 6.8 yards per carry. And he's explosive, displayed by a 4th highest runs over 15 yards, and the highest breakaway percentage, making the big run on 53% of his touches. His runs are heavily weighted towards gap schemes, so there's not a ton of shifting through linebackers and safeties. If the hole is there, he can run through and pick up big yards. For the keys for the Texas defense, remain disciplined as the scheme is designed to force defenders at all levels into mistakes. Playing assignment sound limits the opportunities to get tricked for the big play. Run defense needs to remain solid as they have been all season. If defensive line keeps those gaps stopped up and linebackers fill the open holes, Neal won't be able to break off those big runs. Both quarterbacks will also test our discipline on the option stuff. This week we need to practice defending the quarterback and the pitch man. The amount of misdirection employed by the offense will naturally lead to some mistakes by the defense, but don't let frustration force you into playing outside of yourself. That's what the Kansas offense is banking on. The pass rush was awesome versus TCU, but Kansas doesn't rely on dropping back as often, so they will often neutralize that with rollouts, RPOs, and quicker concepts. But when you do get them behind the sticks, you'll be able to make some plays. But be aware, both Kansas quarterbacks are slippery with low pressure to sack rates. The secondary will face a unified receiving core where any dude can make the big catch. The receivers aren't soft and consistently fight for contested catches, so use proper techniques and avoid flags. Most importantly, don't lose sight of your man, as Kansas loves to get you focused on the run with motions and play action. The Kansas offense is the reason they've improved from Kansas teams of the past, but the defense is still a major issue and they have a long way to go. But before we hit the defense, you need to check out Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a US-based daily fantasy sports app where you can make college football player projections all season long. How does it work? You select 2 to 5 players and choose more or less on their projections. It could be passing yards, rushing yards, receiving yards, and more. And if those players score more or less than their Prize Pick projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. Just hop on the Prize Picks app or website, go to the college football tab, and check out the player projections. It's a smooth process where you can make your entries in 60 seconds or less with fast withdrawals. It's that easy. As a first-time depositor, use promo code TexasHomer, and you will receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100. That's double your money up to $100 for your first time. So sign up for Prize Picks, use promo code TexasHomer at sign up, and add even more excitement to your game day. Link in the description. The Kansas defense hasn't had a turnaround like they have on offense. The players are giving full effort, but they are consistently ranked as one of the worst defenses, giving up 33 points per game, for 110th in the country and vulnerable in each defensive phase. Starting with the run, Kansas is giving up 175 yards per game on the ground, ranking 94th in the nation. On their 4-down line, the interior defensive line has 2 big bodies, but they aren't performing at a high level. Tackle Caleb Sampson ranks 21st, and tackle Sam Burnt ranks 29th of 39 players. Edge is the strength of their run defense, with Lonnie Phelps ranked 7th. With the edge opposite him, Malcolm Lee ranked 11th. But the linebackers struggle to improve on that, with Rich Miller ranked 18th and Tywan Berryhill ranked 24th of 33 run-stopping linebackers. On top of that, the secondary also lacks production against the run, with their highest-ranked secondary player being corner Romello Dotson at 21st. The only other top 25 player is safety Kenny Logan Jr. at 24th. In the pass game, the pass rush has some better performing players, and Kansas does do a good job of rotating personnel to get their best pass rushers on the field. But they're still 81st in the nation, averaging almost 2 sacks per game. Defensive tackle Caleb Sampson is 14th of 39 pass rushing defensive interior linemen, with 20 total pressures, including 3 sacks. The edge is once again a strength, with the impressive Lonnie Phelps ranked first in the league. Phelps has 25 total pressures, 7 of which are sacks, 15 are hurries, and 3 are quarterback hits. Second string edge Jeremy Robinson is 17th, with 14 total pressures, 3 of which are sacks. On the second level, there's no top half pass rushing linebackers, but their hybridized nickel/linebacker Craig Young does a good job, ranking 5th of pass rushing secondary players with 9 total pressures and 4 sacks. In coverage, Kansas is 129th in the nation, giving up 296 passing yards per game through the air, but they generally do a good job of limiting the big play, ranking 2nd in defensive passing explosiveness. So they don't tend to give up the shot, but teams still don't struggle methodically driving up the field for the touchdown. Besides the scheme, the individual performances are lacking. Linebacker Tywan Berryhill barely makes the top half, ranking 16th of 33 pass coverage linebackers. In the secondary, only one player is in the top half, with safety O.J. Burrows ranked 6th. The keys for the Texas offense are simple. Texas has to stay out of their own way. Quinn Ewers has to improve his mechanics and the understanding of the offense. The locking on to single targets is far too easy to exploit for opposing corners and safeties. In turn, Sark needs to quit spamming the deep shot, especially when he knows Quinn has a tendency to not check down. Kansas employs a too-high safety structure, a break from all the copycat Iowa State defenses flooding the league. So middle-of-the-field passes will find the most success, so utilize receivers in that area. But the offense also needs more short passing concepts and someone to remind Sark to utilize Jordan Whittington and Jatavion Sanders from minute 1 of the game till it's over. In the run, they can't get shut down like they did versus TCU. Offensive line struggled with an aggressive front 6, and Sark naturally went away from the run. If the offensive line moves Kansas off the ball and stays within their assignment, Texas can run on this defense statistically. Every metric really points to Texas being able to have success against Kansas, but there's some odd in-game decisions by the play caller, and that's been a theme in offensive struggles for 2 years now. Overall, including offense and defense, this is a very well-coached Kansas team that would be performing at a higher level if not consistently marred by injury. It's just yet to be seen if Texas can play anything near a consistent level of football against a scrappy Kansas squad. Will Texas avenge last year's loss? Can the Longhorns handle business on the road? And can the offense and defense play well at the exact same time? All of these questions will be answered Saturday afternoon when the Longhorns roll into Lawrence. Thanks for hanging out. Watch some more of my videos here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if you want to support quality Texas content. As always, hook 'em.